Paul Sells, Roger Ayers, Mike Reed, our officials, and here we go with Elliot Cadeau in Michigan getting the first possession of the night.
Dame Sarr, the long-arm defender guarding Elliot Cadeau. That puts size on him at the point of attack.
Sometimes Jon Scheyer's toughest decision is who he puts Sarr on. He likes him against so many different kinds of players. Aday Mara, the UCLA transfer, getting better and better. A gifted passer, and somehow he finished that from Cadeau.
That ball was thrown behind Aday Mara, still with his left hand able to corral it and get it off the glass. What a play to start the game for Michigan.
You can't teach 7-3, and Aday Mara is all of that. Boozer, Evans, short on the three, Gungba the rebound, Evans again. And he has been shooting awfully well in recent games, but misses a couple of clean looks here as we take a look at the starting lineup brought to you by Edward Jones. We begin with Michigan. A lot of transfers. 4 of these 5 were elsewhere last season. Yaxel Lendeborg came from UAB, and he, plain and simple, and Dusty May will tell you this, is one of the very best players in the country.
Well, last year only 2 players in the country led their teams in scoring, rebounding, assists, steals, and blocks. Cooper Flagg at Duke and Yaxel Lendeborg at UAB. He's a star.
So versatile both offensively and defensively. Morez Johnson Jr., the Illinois transfer, and the Wolverines out to an early 4-0 lead.
Against ranked teams, Morez Johnson Jr. is averaging 16 points, shooting 73% from the field. If he gets it in the paint, he is making it.
And it is Johnson drawing the assignment of Boozer early, and it is Evans taking it to the rim.
Well, Evans just turned the corner. Aday Mara was there, and he took it and dunked right on him. What a great play by Isaiah Evans.
Lendeborg to Mara. Michigan moves the ball very well. They like to play at a crisp pace if they can, but they execute so well in the half court as well. Elliot Cadeau shooting the ball very well this year, 40% from 3, but misses his first attempt of the night.
That was awfully deep for your first shot, but he has shot it well. 44 threes. The first 2 years he played in college at North Carolina, he had 39 total.
Boozer into Gungba. Kick to the corner. Evans. Now 0 for 3 out there. Boozer with the offensive rebound, and he's fouled by Mara.
Just quicker to the ball than Mara. Nobody able to get a body on Cameron Boozer. He is an excellent rebounder at both ends of the floor, and he always goes after it with 2 hands.
And Cameron Boozer will see more size than he has seen all season. Dusty May, second year as head coach in Ann Arbor. Remember, he took Florida Atlantic to the Final Four a couple of years ago. Michigan goes 7-3, 6-9, 6-9 across the front line, although obviously not all 3 of them are in there all the time. Boozer can shoot the 3. Sarr with a high arcing shot from deep in the corner.
That's over Aday Mara, who's 7-3.
And a 5-0 run for the Blue Devils. Lendeborg fouled, and count the basket.
Boy, that shot fake, that caused Isaiah Evans to fly by. And Yaxel Lendeborg has such great poise. He took his time and decelerated, and then wound up picking up the foul on Caleb Foster. That's a big-time play by Lendeborg.
Started at a junior college, 3 years there, a couple of years at UAB, finishing out as a grad transfer at Michigan. And you talk about a guy who does everything really on both ends of the floor. Scoring, rebounding, assists, steals, can guard 1 through 5 basically. He is a weapon for Dusty May.
Well, Michigan does a lot of switching. Right now Lendeborg is on Cameron Boozer.
Foul away from the ball against the Blue Devils. I think it's Caleb Foster. Jon Scheyer in his 4th year as the head coach at Duke, 113-24 as a coach and 115-29 as a player. Remarkable numbers in both roles for Jon Scheyer, and both coaches just so excited about everything that this game can do for their teams.
Well, what a play by Roddy Gale Jr., the transfer from Ohio State.
Lendeborg comes down with it and finishes.
Well, Gale Jr. does everything for Michigan. He is a selfless player and one of the most respected players on this roster.
And he's come in for Mara as Foster flies to the rim and draws the foul.
even after a made basket, if Duke can get the ball up court quickly, you want to try to attack quickly if you can against Michigan before they get that defense set.
And we talked about all of their size, Jay, but again, Mara's gone to the bench. They probably only have the 3 big guys in there for maybe 10 to 15 minutes per game. Right now, with Johnson and Lendeborg up front, they're still big, but they're not huge like they are when all 3 of them are in there.
Oh, but they still do a great job of protecting the paint and protecting the rim. And the depth of this Michigan team can wear you down. And I'm telling you, Dan, this team's got another gear. When it steps on the gas, it's remarkable how they can take off on teams.
We talk about teams going on like an 8-0 run or a 10-2 run. Michigan goes on runs that are like 34-6, that kind of thing. I mean, they can run you out of the gym when they are playing their best. Cadeau misses the 3 and a rebound in traffic for Foster.
Duke's guards have got to get in and rebound. That's really important in this game.
Evans with the quick release and the corner 3. Lendeborg into the chest of Boozer, counted and a foul.
Well, that's exactly what Yaxel Lendeborg and Michigan do. I mean, Duke scores a 3. They're not licking their wounds over giving up a shot in transition. They just get the ball out and attack. And Michigan wants to attack the rim. And anytime Lendeborg can get into your body, he's going to have the advantage. This is a big-time player, Yaxel Lendeborg, at the free throw line right now.
Didn't play a lot in high school, had trouble with his grades, had his eligibility, cost him a couple of years, but boy, once he turned things around and got going academically, played in his senior year, then to junior college, then UAB, then to Michigan, and next stop is the pros. He is a talent. Malik Brown into the game for Duke.
Good job by Roddy Yale Jr. to stay down in that shot fake. He stays down in a stance, plays low.
Got to deal with Boozer right now. Almost took it away from him. Boozer to Brown for the flush.
Boy, Gale knocks the ball away, but Boozer gets it back, and what a pass to Malik Brown. And that's one of the reasons Malik Brown shoots like 70% from the field.
Knocked out of bounds, and what a start to this one. Number 1 and number...
That has played at such a high level and played so consistently. I mean, Cameron Boozer's worst game, his worst, is 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists.
Right. Lendeborg open, hits the 3. His shot is getting better. He is not a dead-eye knockdown shooter at this point, but he is a threat out there, and he puts Michigan back on top.
That was just a roll replace action. You're worried about a dime Mara rolling to the basket. He just replaces out top for that shot.
So Mara back in, and Morez Johnson Jr. has gone to the bench. Brown off to Evans, averaging almost 20 a game over his last 3. Brown will try a 3, and it's around and out to Lendeborg.
I think that was smart of Mara to just park in the middle of the lane. You know, you don't mind daring Malik Brown to take that shot.
Here's a hot hand lately for the Wolverines. Sophomore L.J. Kaysen, who's been on a roll in recent games.
His last 3 games, 14 points a game, 13 of 19 from the floor, and he knocks down his first in this one.
How about Michigan? 7 for 9 from the floor. Cameron Boozer with a basket at the other end.
He went right into the body of Mara. That takes away his shot blocking ability.
Mismatch inside. Lendeborg scores again.
How about his strength going to the other side of the rim? He had Caden Boozer on him. He just locked him down in front of him.
Boy, there are some great individual players, some great matchups in this one.
Well, Duke's got to be able to attack some of these switches. You're going to get some matchups that may be in your favor.
Boozer misses the 3. Mara the rebound, and look at the long outlet. Swatted out of bounds by Cam Boozer. Still Michigan ball.
Take a look at Mara setting this screen, and then as he rolls, Yaxel Lendeborg replaces out top, and then just getting the mismatch and no pressure on L.J. Kaysen. He's just able to see over the top. Caden Boozer trying to sit on the legs of Yaxel Lendeborg, but he's just too strong.
Lendeborg already has 12 points in this game, 12 of Michigan's 19. Kaysen, lob. Mara couldn't come down with it. It stays with Michigan, and the Duke players are hollering that they should challenge possession here. We'll see if Jon Scheyer wants to. It does not look like it.
And they might.
They are still thinking about it, and they are going to. They will use their challenge early here tonight.
A lot of pressure on the guy with the iPad behind the bench.
No doubt. If they're right, they retain it and get one more.
The previous play is being challenged by Duke with the ruling of out of bounds on the floor.
Did Mara touch it? It looked like it hit his hand, didn't it?
But remember, as we've seen so many times, it has to be conclusive evidence video-wise to overturn it. Yeah, he touched it last. That's conclusive.
Right there.
Yep,
yeah,
that's conclusive.
Yeah, that should be Duke ball.
If that's not conclusive, then we ought to end replay.
The officials discussing it. We don't expect this one to take much longer. Here's Paul Sells.
After review, it was determined that the ball last touched Michigan before going out of bounds. It will be Duke's ball on the baseline with 14:02 and 30 on the shot clock.
So Duke will retain its challenge and get the ball. And hey, coming up next tonight on ESPN, Kentucky is facing Auburn. Oh, that's a big game for the Tigers. They have been struggling recently. And then we cap the night, number 23 BYU and number 6 Iowa State. What a day and night of college basketball.
Duke has to figure out a way to get Adai Mara away from the basket. And they want to put him in as many ball screens as they can.
Boozer right into his chest, and a foul is called. And Mara just picked up his second.
Boozer goes into his body, and Mara brought that hand down. I thought because he was jumping, that wouldn't affect it. But he blocked the shot after the contact, but the initial contact was ruled a foul.
So that could be it for Mara for the rest of the half. We'll see how Dusty May plays it.
Boozer just goes right into his chest, not once but twice. That's tough, man. He blocked that shot.
So that is a loss for Michigan. Morez Johnson Jr. comes back in, but it just reduces the number of combinations that Dusty May could use, and we'll see if he leaves Mara on the bench for the rest of the half and leaves Johnson and Lindeborg in there for the rest of the half.
Well, he is so good with that. His hands, Malik Brown's, are spectacular getting steals and deflections.
He has the #1 steal percentage in the ACC. Boozer. Foster. Payson on him. Now Cam Boozer. 10 to shoot. Spinning into the paint. Kicks it to Foster. Got it.
Boy, what a play and what a find by Cameron Boozer after spinning. Could still keep his poise and find Caleb Foster for that three.
And it's all tied up at 19, just over 7 minutes into this one. Johnson one-on-one with Boozer. Two physical, strong guys. Johnson lays it in.
Boy, what a drop step by Morez Johnson Jr. He has had a spectacular year. 70% from two. And he leads the Big Ten in field goal percentage at 67% overall.
He doesn't get quite the attention that some of his teammates get, but he deserves all he's getting and more. He's a big part of their success. Foster open, got another one.
Boy, what a jab step. That jab step threw Roddy Gale Jr. to his left and opened up that shot.
Lindeborg, Gale, a little short, but look at Johnson flying in. Lindeborg down to the court, and a travel is the call on Yaxel Lindeborg to give it to Duke. Boy, that ball hits the deck tonight, Mr. Billis. You best be getting after it.
And everybody is, and I'm not sure about that one, but You like seeing the players get down on the floor for the ball. First to the floor in this type of game could win the game.
Duke by 1. Foster's been hot. Can't finish it with the left. And it is out of bounds to Michigan with 11:50 to go in the first half. Stars on each team, Jay, and each of them has been playing like a star already here tonight.
Well, Cameron Boozer has made so many plays to start this game, going right into the chest.
Recently diagnosed with cancer, just finished up a round of chemotherapy, so she was able to make it today. Talked to her before the game. She said, what a dream this has been to watch his potential, put in the work, and see all of this pay off, Dan.
Chris, thank you. What a touching story on a number of levels. We send our very best to Yaxel's mom, and boy, he talks about her in such glowing terms about how she turned his life around as Gungba comes up with a block.
Well, Patrick Gungba does such a great job of protecting the rim for Duke. Had his best game, I thought, against that great front line of Florida. He had 11 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 blocks against the Gators.
John Shire will tell you he does so many things for this team, whether it's a block, pick and roll, defense, passing. There's a hard foul as Kaysen hit the deck, and he will go to the free throw line for a pair.
Well, LJ Kaysen brings such speed, quickness, and an attack mentality. And after that shot was blocked, the quick outlet by Lendeborg, and Michigan was out in transition. You play ahead of the defense, it's a lot easier to score against Duke.
Jay, number 2 on Caleb Foster, the starting point guard for the Blue Devils. And he is going to come out. Isaiah Evans back in. They still do have Caden Boozer in there. Each of these coaches has the luxury, really, of having 2 legit point guards. So sometimes they have both of them in there, and they can withstand a little bit of foul trouble.
And Caden Boozer has played his best basketball the last 2 games. In his last 2 games, he's had 12 points in each game, and he's 10 of 14 from the field over that stretch.
Still a 1-point lead for Duke. Gungba trying to back down Johnson. Can't do it. A lot of traffic, and he turned it over.
Just too many dribbles against this Michigan defense.
The freshman Trey McKinney a little strong on the 3. Kept alive by Will Cheddar as Gungba goes flying into the first row of seats. This one's been called Duke ball. Will Michigan challenge? And looks like they will not. We haven't seen any signal that they will, so this is going to stay Duke ball. Dusty May opting against it as Elliot Cadeau checks back into the game for the Wolverines.
Awful lot of contact, and that ball, Will Cheddar was right. That looked like it went off the left hand of Gungba, and Gungba was pursuing it, but still they called it off Michigan.
Nicholas Semenya on the floor now for Duke. McDonald's All-American coming off a very good game against Syracuse Monday. He's wide open underneath. More open than he realized, and he lays it in.
Just miscommunication as you had 2 guarding Isaiah Evans and Nicholas Semenya, and they just lost Semenya on an easy cut.
Duke by 3, nearing the midway point of the first half. Lendeborg an air ball.
Yeah, not a good shot by Lendeborg, just off 1 pass.
Evans doesn't need much space, can't hit it.
Well, that was a great screen by Gungba to get Evans open. The 3-point line has been an important factor to Duke in this first half.
How about Cadeau? A no-look pass to the wing, and Lendeborg buries this one.
Boy, it looked like it surprised Cameron Boozer, and Lendeborg was ready to fire that even after he missed that last one in the right corner.
Jay, he's got 15 of their 24.
He is an absolute star.
He's already over his season average. He's their leading scorer, but at 14.4 a game. Michigan very balanced. Evans, the pull-up 3.
That's a tough shot. Trey McKinney was right on him.
Lendeborg, the step back. Evans closes in on him. McKinney, Mr. Basketball in the state of Michigan a season ago. Looks like a running back at 6'4", 225. What a special talent he is. And assuming he's in Ann Arbor next year, Jay, he is going to be maybe the focal point of the team. He's that talented.
No, he's got greatness in him. He's 43 threes on the season, just had 13 points against Purdue. He had 3 of 4 from three-point range. He's got so much talent and blends in very nicely with this uber-talented Michigan team.
5-0 run to Michigan to lead by 2 and an offensive foul.
Elliot Cadeau staying right on Isaiah Evans. Evans gave him a little shove, maybe a little acting in it, but it was smart to draw that foul by Elliot Cadeau.
Number 2 on Evans. So Evans has 2, Foster has 2. For Michigan, Mara has 2, but Jay, he just checked back into the game.
Staggered screens on both sides of the floor, and then a fade screen for Cheddar. Cheddar can shoot it, but he turned it over.
Cheddar, the 9th man in a 9-man rotation for Dusty May, and boy does he have great depth, bringing guys like McKinney and Gale and Kaysen off the bench. Duke also goes 9 deep generally. Darren Harris sometimes will play, sometimes won't for John Shire. Cameron DeBoozer. Look at how physical and determined he is getting to the glass.
Boozer set a hard screen. Michigan switched, and he could take on a guard, McKinney, up at the top.
And his dad, Carlos, sitting just a few feet away from us, loving what he is seeing again tonight from both of his sons, in Cameron and Caden.
Now, Carlos Boozer bullied a few guys in his career.
Mara the kick.
Good fake.
Boozer has to switch on to McKinney. He'll hoist, can't hit. Boozer the rebound. You wonder how anybody sees anything when Amara comes out to defend him with that length.
I'm not sure I would have set that screen if I were Boozer. That allowed the switch to get a big guy back on him. Cadeau was guarding him. He should have taken him down into the post.
Dame Sarr will miss a 3, and did Mara just pick up his 3rd? I think he did, and he is saying to his coach, Dusty May, that Hamenya might have had a hook and hold on him.
Well, it certainly looked like Mara had him from behind on it, but let's take another look. Right underneath. Yeah, that wasn't a hook and hold.
The Michigan bench talking to the officials. There's a timeout on the floor. A tie game here between number 1 and number 3, with 20,000 watching here in the nation's capital.
Other than that, he's been spectacular.
Here's Chris.
Michigan in that last timeout, obviously frustrated by the 3rd foul by Adai Mara, but Dusty May telling his team, we can't let one negative play affect the rest of us. And he told Mara, he said, listen, when things go wrong, the rest of the group has to lean in. I will need you in the second half.
He will now definitely have to sit for the final 7 minutes of the first half. Nearly turned over, and now it is.
Great hands by Yaxel Lindeborg. So many good defensive players on this Michigan team. They're an excellent team defensive team, but they've got good individual defenders as well.
And again, per KenPom, Michigan number 1 in the nation in defensive efficiency. Duke number 2. How about the second no-look pass from the wing, to the wing rather, from Cadeau to Lindeborg, but this time Lindeborg couldn't hit it.
And Duke had really good box outs. Their guards are getting down to rebound and help the big guys out.
Foster the pull-up, too strong. Cadeau a couple of years with North Carolina, transferring this year to Michigan. And this is what he is doing much better. He is a 40% three-point shooter. Couldn't hit that one, and this game's still tied.
He's missed all 3 of his attempts in this one.
Boozer. And a foul is called as he tried to dunk it. Couldn't quite get it over the rim, but obviously contact on the way up.
Yeah, Lindeborg got him with that left arm, and Malik Brown did a great job of screening off help here. See how he screens off Morez Johnson Jr. so that he can't get there. He tried to spin off, but that was a big factor, that screen set, to get him to the bucket.
Boozer 6 points, 4 assists already, and 3 rebounds as well, about 14 minutes in. Tomorrow morning on ESPN, the Women's College Game Day crew will be in Columbia, South Carolina at 11 a.m. Eastern to get you set for a big day of basketball. It'll be number 3 South Carolina hosting number 17 Ole Miss at noon, and then Oklahoma and Tennessee. The afternoon is capped off with number 12 TCU and Iowa State. 1 of 2 for Boozer. A South Carolina win tomorrow will clinch a share of the 5th straight SEC regular season title. Sarr on Cadeau again. Now Boozer switches out.
Michigan's got to get the ball into the paint. They can't settle for perimeter shots.
Cadeau. Roddy Gale Jr. shut off on the baseline, and a foul is called on Morez Johnson Jr. His second.
Duke's defense was loaded up on that last possession. Nicholas Hamenia doing a good job trying to stop that drive by Roddy Gale Jr.
You know, you talked about Michigan's offense. They can be really good from 3, but they can also be streaky from 3-point range. The strength of Dusty May's offense, as you said, is getting the ball into the rim and converting at a very high rate from 2-point range.
Yeah, and that last possession after the initial ball screen fade action, there wasn't as much movement by Michigan. If you're going to try to drive a set defense, it's going to be tough.
Hamenia misses the front end of a 1-and-1.
Michigan needs to play more to the second and third action in a possession.
Johnson the handoff to Cadeau. Lots of time. Back to Johnson. Whoa! Get out of his way!
Well, you got 2 on the ball with Malik Brown helping on that ball screen, and a beautiful roll to the basket. Cameron Boozer came over, but Morez Johnson Jr. just dunked right over him.
And at the other end of the floor, the whistle blows because Elliot Cadeau is hurt. He went down near his bench right up to Dusty May and told him whatever it is, and Elliot Cadeau is in a significant amount of pain as he has come out of the game.
Can't tell whether they're working on his shoulder because he was holding his left arm down, but you couldn't really tell what it was.
Whatever it was, he knew that he had to leave the game immediately. So LJ Kaysen will become the primary point guard with Cadeau on the bench. Gungba one-on-one with Cheddar. Gets inside and lays it in.
Boy, once you get your body, you have to guard that with an arm bar and not your body, because Gungba can spin right off that body contact. An arm bar helps the defender keep some distance.
First points of the night for Gungba, averaging better than 10 a game. Namari Burnett misses the long 3, but what a rebound by Roddy Gale Jr.
That's what Roddy Gale Jr. does. He makes the plays that are sometimes invisible plays that really helps his team win.
Kaysen driving Foster. Soft off the window and in.
Boy, how about Michigan sticking with it on that possession? They moved the defense and then attacked it and didn't settle for a jump shot. They got it to the rim.
Michigan's largest lead 5, Duke's largest lead 3. It's a 1-point game right now.
Boy, how many teams do we see that LJ Kaysen would start on? I mean, what a luxury to bring him off the bench, as good as he is.
Let's see what happened here to Elliot Cadeau. A collision there with Malik Brown, and we believe that is where the injury was sustained. And reaching for his left forearm, Jay.
I don't know whether he got a stinger or what it was, but you saw that arm dangling when he went over to the bench.
Chris Budden may have more.
The athletic trainer has been massaging out kind of that left forearm area, working out his elbow. The part where he's struggling is to make a fist and any strength in his hand. You can see the athletic trainer putting a heating pad on it.
Chris, thank you. Another missed free throw by the Blue Devils. Michigan with the ball in a 1-point lead. Kaysen at the point.
Dame Sarr guarding at the point of attack. He's got great feet and terrific length.
Duke has been an outstanding defensive team. Their last 10 games allowing just 58 points per game. Sarr a big part of that. Kaysen cannot shake Homenya. Still going and somehow gets it to go.
Well, as soon as LJ Kaysen saw Homenya switch on him, he was going to take that on.
Kaysen a great game at Mackey on Tuesday night in a win over Purdue. 13 points in less than 18 minutes of action. Foster, floater, no.
And there's the rip and run. Take the rebound and take it all the way.
And draw the foul. Lendeborg will be at the line. Michigan leads. Concern about Elliot Cadeau. An error.
Hey, you did too.
Oh, yeah. Funny how that works. Look at you. You must have great memory. I mean, you played in the program. You coached in the program. Now, of course, you've been broadcasting for us forever. But to get two programs like this playing against one another. By the way, this is the 31st all-time meeting between the two. Duke leads 22-8, and the first time they have met in almost 13 years. One of two for Lendeborg, who still is the high scorer in the game, and easily the high scorer. He's got 16.
Duke has an advantage if they go inside to Gungba.
Boozer drives into a crowd. Lendeborg got knocked down. Boozer a miss. Homenya a rebound and a basket.
Boy, Homenya came in from the corner and just picked up that loose ball and put it back in. That game he had against Syracuse, he had 14, and in the prior 4 games scored 13 points total.
Made all 3 of his threes in that game against the Orange on a Monday night. Duke won by 37. Will Cheddar know?
And Michigan's getting some open shots, just not knocking them down. Cadeau's missed a few open ones, and then Cheddar off that pick and pop.
So Duke can tie or take the lead, but they turn it over. Kaysen playing free safety.
Boy, great read as a weak side defender to take that pass away.
Now Gungba has switched on to Kaysen, who's sizing him up. Looking to his coach.
They got to get some movement to create some space if he's going to take on this drive. You don't want to go against this many bodies.
Nowhere to go. Tipped away by Gungba. And they end up turning it over. You don't see many Michigan possessions that look like that.
They just didn't get the movement they needed. And then LJ Kaysen has to take on Gungba against a set defense with a lot of help defenders behind.
There are a lot of big guys who Kaysen could just go right around, but Gungba did a terrific job forcing that turnover, and Dusty May has Elliot Cadeau back on the floor, so that is good news for the Wolverines. Cam Boozer got a mismatch with Gale. Cadeau came down and it might have gotten a hand in there. It is called Duke ball, and again we will see, will Michigan challenge? Dusty May is looking into the second row at whichever member of his staff has the iPad.
Well, Cam Boozer had a mismatch with Roddy Gale Jr. on him, tried to spin off it and couldn't tell whether it got knocked away or he just lost it.
No challenge. Into Gungba. Sarr up top, guarded by McKinney. Shot clock at 7. Boozer to Boozer. Gale defending him. Cadeau the double. Boozer scores.
He's just too strong. As good of a defender as Roddy Gale Jr. is, you're just going against too much size and strength to try to keep Boozer from getting to the rim.
And with Amara having 3 and Johnson having 2, this is a very small Michigan lineup. So Boozer's got a wing on him instead of a big. Nearly another turnover. Michigan a little ragged offensively the last couple of times down. Lendeborg, no. Final minute of the first half, tied at 33. Boozer wants the ball. Again, he's got Gale or Burnett on him. Got a big size advantage. Sarr scrambles to get it to Homenya.
Boy, they really need to look inside to Boozer. Gale's fronting him.
Amenya, no, and Boozer never got a touch on that trip.
Boy, give credit, though, to Roddy Gale Jr. He really fought him.
And now Michigan can hold. Dusty May got their attention and say, hey, everybody, shot clock's turned off. Hold for the last shot. Five seconds. Burnett. And a push. A foul is called against Michigan. And Duke's going to get a trip to the line.
Yeah, not the foul that Michigan wanted to get on that rebound. Looked like it was Lindebord.
The Jeep halftime report is coming up. You can see Reese Davis, Jay Will. There's Seth Greenberg lurking in the background, getting ready to bring us all their analysis of what's already been a great day of college basketball, including an Arizona win at Houston. Gungba at the line, 1-1. Made them both. 0.8 of a second. And it'll be Duke taking a 2-point lead into the break after those two free throws by Gungba. A very evenly played first half, Jay.
Both teams played.
Boozer to inbound. The Blue Devils get the first possession. As Jay mentioned, Adai Mara starts the second half on the bench. Roddy Gale Jr. on the floor for the Wolverines.
And Caleb Foster, Duke's point guard, had a really good first half. He had 8 points and was very strong at the point of attack when he was in the game.
What a matchup. Boozer and Lindebord. Now the switch into Gungba. Surrounded and fouled, and will be getting free throws. Namari Burnett is called for the foul, his second.
Well, Duke looking inside when Cameron Boozer was up top. You got Gungba posting up, and Gungba can be awfully big when he widens out in that lane.
Coming up less than an hour from now, it's the NBA on ABC. It'll be the Rockets and the Knicks at 8:30 Eastern Time. Coverage tips at the top of the hour, 8 Eastern, with Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Shaq. And they'll also be back at 11 Eastern to break down all of the news and highlights from the association. And speaking of the association, the Hornets are here. They will take on the Wizards tomorrow. And a few of them walked by us just before the game. Sion James, Con Knipple, Kobe White, P.J. Hall, and others in town to take on the Wizards. One of two for Gungba. Duke by 3. And Cadeau just a little stop and start. And Dame Sarr is called for the foul.
Sarr with a little grab with that left arm. And Cadeau didn't score in the first half, but he did have 5 assists without a turnover.
There have been some games where he's been much more of a distributor, some games where they've needed his shooting. Into Johnson, keeps the dribble alive, blocked from behind. Sarr's got it.
A good challenge at the rim by Cameron Boozer. Whereas Johnson Jr. just mishandled that ball, otherwise he might have had an easy bucket.
Malik Brown off the fingertips of Gale, out of bounds, still Duke ball. So Brown into the game early in the second half as Gungba has gone to the bench.
Lindebord matching up with Cam Boozer.
Pick and roll, now Gale on him. Boozer behind the back. Nice pass.
Dame Sarr just snuck behind the defense. Everybody worried about Boozer. He just snuck behind, and Boozer found him. That's his 5th assist of the game.
And it's also the largest lead of the night now for Duke. Lindebord trying to answer, spins, and will head to the line. Around the foul.
Michigan just moved everybody to the left side. and let Lindeborg go one-on-one. But after this screen, he just slips out. Everybody's so worried about Boozer. They lost Dame Sarr along the baseline after he rolled off that screen.
Dusty May pretty much had a handle on what his team would look like this year, except for Lindeborg. Lindeborg had decided to transfer, but he also put his name in the drafts, kept his name in the draft for a couple of months, withdrew before the deadline, and that turned what was still going to be an extremely good team into a great team. Probably an anxious couple of months for Dusty May, but with Lindeborg being their all-round best player, that man is coaching the #1 team in the nation right now, but they are down 3 in this one.
Lindeborg was the biggest prize I felt in the transfer portal last year out of UAB.
Boozer surrounded. Finds Evans. Evans driving, and Morez Johnson Jr. is having none of it.
Boy, Cadeau kept his chest in front of Isaiah Evans, and slowing him down, that allowed Morez Johnson Jr. to recover and block that shot. And he blocked it 50 feet.
Again, Boozer and Lindeborg. Brown the screen.
Got the switch.
Evans the 3. Yes!
Boy, after Malik Brown rolls, Evans just goes underneath him. That causes a lot of confusion for the defense, and he doesn't need much time at all when he catches. That was gone quick.
Evans 12 for 21 from 3 his last 3 games. That's his second made 3 here tonight. A foul on Caleb Foster.
Now Malik Brown sets a ball screen here, and as he rolls off it, watch Evans right along the right side. He rolls right underneath, and Lindeborg has to switch off, just can't recover in time, as Evans was just so quick on that release.
No look pass, Lindeborg to Cadeau. Now Gale. Johnson. One-on-one with Boozer. Up, no good. And down with it is Brown for Duke.
Boy, Duke's defensive rebounding has been excellent.
Foster now playing with 3 fouls. Evans feeling it. Misses the corner 3.
Heck of a block out by Morez Johnson Jr. on Malik Brown.
And Lindeborg, for the second time tonight, driving right into the chest of Cam Boozer to draw a foul.
Boy, how do you stop that when he's going downhill? It's like trying to stop a Brinks truck.
The second on Boozer. Non-shooting foul. Michigan just 2 points in the first 3 minutes of the second half. Johnson for 3. His 6th of the season.
Yeah, he doesn't take many of them, just shoots about 33%, but didn't hesitate on that one.
They needed that. Michigan back within 3. And contact away from the ball underneath. A foul on Michigan.
Looks like Cadeau. Morez Johnson Jr. Malik Brown was just daring him to shoot that, and he took him up on it.
And you're right, it was Cadeau, just his first. Again, Boozer isolated on Lindeborg. Does not try to drive him. Evans back to Boozer. Kick to Foster. Lindeborg the rebound. Cadeau went flying and was looking for a foul call.
They got pushed from behind by Dame Sarr.
Lindeborg behind the screen. Kept alive by Gale, but only momentarily. It's back to Duke. And so far, Jay, the second half has been much like the first half was. Hard fought, intense. But right now, both of these teams getting it done more at the defensive end than they are at the offensive end.
Well, the 2 best defensive teams in the country. Shouldn't be too much of a surprise.
Sarr, what a pass. Boozer blocked. Brown, no. And it'll be Michigan ball.
Boy, Boozer got a great cross screen for Malik Brown, but it was just erased by the Michigan defense at the rim.
Number 3 Duke up and looking in on this one here tonight.
Well, this has been a heavyweight fight between Michigan and Duke. And the NCAA top 16 reveal from the tournament selection committee. Iowa State getting the 4th #1 seed. A lot of people thought it would have been Houston, but the Cyclones grabbing that as a 1 seed.
And remember earlier today, you may have seen it on ABC, Arizona without Koa Pete with a big road win in Houston. Huge win for Tommy Lloyd's team.
And 2 straight games by Anthony Del Orso of 22 points.
Aday Mara, how are you going to stop that?
He's such a good passer. So Duke went one-on-one in the post with Boozer. He just turned over his left shoulder and shot right over him.
Just his 2nd field goal attempt, his 2nd make on the night, and Michigan back within 1.
And Malik Brown almost had Isaiah Evans on a back cut.
Evans stopped by Gale. Shot clock down to 7. Sarr with Amara on him. Drives, tried to dunk it, and a foul on Cameron Boozer.
What a block with the left hand by Aday Mara, and you could have gotten both either Caleb Foster or Cam Boozer on that foul against LJ Kaysen going after the ball.
Number 3 on Boozer. Aday Mara 4th in the nation in blocks at 2.7 a game. And Jay, as many as he blocks, he probably alters or impacts even more.
And that's why you have to run action, put him in ball screens to get him away from the basket. But even away from the basket, he made that recovery to block that shot.
And Michigan looking for the lead on this trip. In and out for Lindeborg.
Oh, and Duke's got numbers.
Sarr, cross court. Evans. Boozer the rebound. Foster.
Boy, Roddy Gale Jr. went for that steal, and that opened up the middle on that pass out from Boozer after the offensive board.
LJ Kaysen baseline, stopped by Evans. Plenty of time to reset.
Open side pick and roll.
Cadeau, a deep one. Another rebound for Boozer.
What's that? 0 of 4 now from 3 for Cadeau.
It is. He has yet to score in this game.
He does have 5 or 6 assists.
Averaging 10 points per game. He's got 5 assists and still no turnovers in the game.
And one of the factors now with LJ Kaysen having to guard mismatch with Boozer.
Into Gungba. And Mara got another one.
Looked like it went off Kaysen.
It will stay with Duke with 4 on the shot clock. Mara getting more minutes. Remember, had all the foul trouble in the first half, and you can see the impact he can have on the game at the defensive end.
Even when you knock him back with that length, and now he's guarding the ball out of bounds. Tough to see over Aday Mara, the transfer from UCLA.
McKinney into the game for Michigan. Hamenya into the game for Duke. Gungba with the shot clock running down. Foster the rebound. Evans for 3. And Lindeborg, I believe, called for the foul, or did they get McKinney? Trey McKinney of Michigan called for the foul, his 2nd.
Just a push in the back. Unnecessary, because I don't think Hamenya was going to get that rebound.
Foster to try to inbound it over the outstretched arms of Mara. Gungba the cut and lays it in.
Boy, he went to set the screen, just slipped to the basket. Beautifully run.
Duke's lead up to 5. McKinney. Offensive rebound and put back for Gale.
One of the few offensive rebounds. Nobody turned to block out Roddy Gale Jr. from that right wing. Duke's rebounding has been excellent in this game, but give Michigan credit. This is one of the better offensive rebounding teams in the country.
And to your point, just the 3rd offensive rebound of the night for Michigan. Duke's got 9. Evans, no. Boozer has it.
Boy, Boozer just in a crowd fighting with 2 hands to get that rebound.
Up to 7 rebounds now, and give them a bucket and more.
Boy, the quick spin on the baseline. Mara looked like he was the one that picked up the foul. What a quick move. Having the mismatch down low. Roddy Gale Jr. leaning on him, trying to get an arm bar, but Cam Boozer so good. It looked like Gale was the one that got him. But holy cow, what a quick, strong move by Cam Boozer.
The foul does go on Gale, his first. And Boozer all of a sudden up to 11 points. 7 assists and 7 rebounds. He may wind up with a triple-double in this game.
Talking about a complete basketball player in Cameron Boozer.
Godot on the bench, Kaysen at the point. They can run a lot of offense through Mara, a gifted passer. Good job by Sarr. Boy, he can stay in front of just about anybody. Lendeboard won't challenge Boozer. Shot clock running down. Kaysen knows it. Got the rim tipped back out and coming right to us. As Trey McKinney came flying into the table. Tim 2, our wonderful cameraman sitting to the right here, got bowled over by Trey McKinney, and hopefully he's okay. And we will have a timeout on the floor. .11 to go here in the second half. Duke leading by 5. I think Duke caught a bit of a break on that one. I think that could have been upgraded on Gungba, but it is no foul call. And it is Duke ball with a 5-point lead here, 7:49 into the second half.
Daimara guarding Patrick Gungba, and you've got Morris Johnson Jr. picking up Cam Boozer. Got to walk. That play designed as a handoff action to fake it so that Cam Boozer can get to that right-hand drive down the lane line. Just went a little early and walked with it.
First turnover committed this half by the Blue Devils. Can the Wolverines get clicking offensively? They have not looked like themselves for much of the night.
And a lot of that has to do with Duke's defense. They have been very, very active.
Nice look inside. Johnson. Tough angle, but he gets it to go.
That's why he shoots almost 70% from the field. A really strong move right up in to Cameron Boozer.
So it's down to 3. Jaden Boozer at the point. McKinney on him. Boozer. Lob. Gungba the finish.
Boy, Duke is getting some really good movement from side to side. That slot ball screen, just a roll down the middle of the lane. Beautifully done.
Kaysen shakes Sarr. Lendeboard blocked by Boozer. And he kept it in bounds, only to turn it over. Kaysen over Hamenya, in and out. Boy, how did that not go down?
Duke has really been controlling the tempo in this second half, and they've lifted up this Michigan defense and really spread it out.
Gungba will try a 3. Johnson soars for the rebound.
Well, he is such a good athlete. Michigan has 3 players that average over 10 points a game and over 7 rebounds. Good fade.
Johnson, Lendeboard, and Amara. Michigan, though, now just 4 for 20 from 3-point range. Duke not much better, 5 for 18.
And one of the big factors is Michigan has mostly been one shot and out with a lot of offensive rebound opportunities.
Nearing the midway point of the second half. Taken away by McKinney. And fouled by Sarr.
Well, Duke on the offensive end, they're putting the big guys in ball screen action. Great screen by Patrick Gungba. Mara stays too long on the ball. That led to the dunk on the alley-oop, and a great defensive play by Cameron Boozer. Not known as a shot blocker, but he was there.
McKinney, the pull-up won't go. Hamenya the rebound. Chris.
Jon Scheyer in that last time out said this game will come down to two things: getting back on transition and your defensive rebounding. So I need you to focus on that the remainder of these 10 minutes.
And Duke has done a very nice job keeping Michigan out of transition. Michigan fans wanted to travel. They don't get it, and Hemenya has given Duke its largest lead of the night. Cadeau still going. Fouled by Sarr and then trips over him after the whistle had blown.
Well, after this knockaway by Mara, everybody diving on the floor, but Boozer first to get it, slid a little bit, and as a result of the chaos, Nicholas Hemenya able to get to the rim.
Elliot Cadeau at the line. That's the 7th foul on Duke, so Michigan into the bonus already. Well, they called it a shooting foul, I guess, but it is the 7th. Either way, Sarr comes out and Foster comes in. So Foster and Caden Boozer both in the game at the same time for the Blue Devils. Gungba and Johnson getting physical in the lane as Cadeau makes the 2nd. And Jake Cadeau's first points of the night.
I think Duke should keep putting Adai Mara into ball screen situations. Draw him away from the basket.
Gungba to Caden Boozer. Back to Gungba. Pretty offense from the Blue Devils.
Beautiful drop-off pass, and then Gungba just followed it to the rim. As Caden Boozer able to get Adai Mara to switch off on him.
Cadeau gets around Foster, can't hit it, and a whistle underneath, and now Gungba is complaining about a possible hook and hold.
Well, I thought that Elliot Cadeau got fouled on that shot. You have a cutter going right around. Gungba drops it off to him. Mara's got to pick him up, and just a beautiful drop off because Gungba just rolled right to the rim behind the action.
The foul is on Cam Boozer. It is his 4th. And Jon Scheyer is going to take his star out with 8:42 to go in this game, now that he has picked up foul number 4. Boozer has played 29 minutes already in this game, but he is sitting for now. Johnson at the line. Makes the front end. And made them both. A 5-point game. So where does Duke look offensively with Cam Boozer on the bench?
I think the issue is going to be they've got to keep Adai Mara out of the lane, then attack the lane. And he's guarding Gungba. And so him setting those ball screens is going to be effective.
Knocked away. Still Duke ball. Brown has it and threw it into the backcourt. Duke will turn it over. And Michigan fans are on their feet, sensing a change in momentum.
Jon Scheyer going to come back with Isaiah Evans to get a little bit more shooting on the floor. That was not Duke's best offensive lineup.
They get a bucket here. This place is going to get really loud. Cadeau into Johnson. And no foul call. Out of bounds, though. Still Michigan ball with 4 on the shot clock.
Morris Johnson Jr. looking at the official saying, what, there wasn't enough contact there?
Cadeau to inbound. Tried to lob it to Mara and hit the side of the backboard. Inside, 8 minutes to go. Timeout, Jon Scheyer. Back and forth all night long. It's number 1 and number 3 in a game that has been tight throughout. And right now, it's number 3, the Duke Blue Devils, with such a unique event. Non-conference, highly ranked teams playing here in a major market in an NBA arena. By the way, the East Regional, Chris talked about this early, is here. Duke could easily end up here. You'd imagine Michigan would be headed towards Chicago. That's a topic for another day, but just unique and special on so many levels here tonight. Foster has to heave a prayer with the shot clock running down. Did not get it off in time for the timeout. Chris.
Dusty May during that last timeout trying to instill some confidence that we just got to hang around, guys. This is what we do. Grind out possessions. We've won ugly and we've won pretty. We just got to keep grinding. This is a team 5-0 when trailing at half.
It won't be pretty here tonight if they can win it. They have blown really good teams out by 20, 30, even 40 points. But they are in a fist fight tonight with Duke, and right now Duke is winning.
Well, Michigan can't hit a perimeter shot, and they've not really been able to get the ball to Yaxel Lendeborg in this second half.
Michigan now 4 for 21 from three-point range.
A good switch to stop that drive.
Evans puts it on the deck. Somehow got it to Brown, and he got blocked. Trey McKinney. And he got blocked by Brown at the other end. Michigan fans thought there was a lot of contact on that drive. The number 1 and number 2 defensive teams in America, and it has looked like it here tonight.
This has not been for the faint of heart. This has been a ridiculously physical game.
Evans, baseline pull up. It will go.
Just a little step back right over the outstretched arms of Lendeborg.
Cadeau, a strong drive, and Hemenya called for the foul.
Yeah, Hemenya came over from the weak side, and I'm not sure he got established before that gather by Cadeau. Good screen in transition by Aday Mara to free him up.
So Cadeau at the line for 2. And Michigan, like Duke, now 8 for 13 from the line.
Michigan hasn't been able to get second chance points. Duke has scored off some Michigan turnovers, and Duke's defense has been outstanding, but Michigan has missed some open shots that they normally make.
Duke out rebounding Michigan, to your point. More second chance points, more points in the paint. Foster, oh, what a shove. Cadeau went flying, but the basket is good.
That's surprising. That left arm came out. Cadeau went flying.
And it's up to 8. The largest lead of the game for the Blue Devils. Lendeborg surrounded. Johnson. Tip will go for Mara.
Just as that was coming off the rim, Aday Mara looked like he was being held a little bit and still was able to get that tip in. And Michigan right now can be aggressive. Michigan's only got 4 team fouls in this second half.
Duke's already got 9, so it's 2 shots the rest of the way on the next one for the Wolverines.
Well, it's been tough to stay in front of Caleb Foster. Now here comes the ball screen.
Foster still going. Into Mara, no, and down with Ed McKinney.
Well, he didn't make it, but that was an aggressive drive with body seeking from Foster.
Big possession here for Michigan, down by 6.
Got to get some movement with Mara having the ball.
And he got held, and Gungba is saying Mara hooked me. These two have been going back and forth with this all night long.
They got tangled up. And Mara going one-on-one in the post. Yeah, there was a lot of holding going on there.
But the call goes on Gungba. And again, because it's the 10th foul, it is 2 free throws the rest of the way now for Michigan.
Well, it's been amazing how physical this game has been.
And Cam Boozer will return. Sat about 3.5 minutes after picking up his 4th.
Yeah, Jon Scheyer was able to steal a lot of time, not only to get Boozer some rest, but still maintain a lead before bringing him back in.
Mara can struggle at the line, just 49% on the season. It is a 4-point game with 4:40 to go.
Got a switch. Now Cadeau's on Boozer. Switch back.
Evans. Off the fingertips of Gungba. It's Michigan ball. Mara wants it.
What a pass.
Back to Johnson. No foul. They play on. Lendeboard. And he runs down his miss.
Boy, didn't everybody stop thinking there was a foul?
Boy, has Michigan had open looks from beyond the arc. They have not been able to hit consistently tonight. Mara going to work offensively. Cadeau. Lendeboard again. And they are back within 1. As Lendeboard's mom looks on here in D.C.
That was all the offensive glass for Michigan.
Foster fouled on the perimeter by McKinney to take us to a timeout. Yaxel Lendeboard couldn't hit the first 3, but ran down his own miss. Got another opportunity and buried it to send Michigan fans into a frenzy here in Washington. No one loving it more. 24 to go here in this one. Everything you could want in an environment, in a scene. It was great at game day today with the teams going through their game day shoot-arounds while you guys were on the air, open to fans. Both coaches said it simulated and even exceeded the atmosphere that they have with open practices during the NCAA tournament. And to top it all off, Jay, it looks like we are going right down to the wire in a close one, as Evans will slam it home to make it a 3-point game.
Boozer set a back screen. And a terrific cut off that back screen by Isaiah Evans. Now Lendeboard looking to lock Evans down in the post. Mara didn't look at him.
What a pass from Mara, but Cadeau missed the layup.
Well, you can't have an easier shot, and Cadeau just missed it.
Cadeau now 0 for 7 from the field in this game. Does have 6 assists.
Boy, Duke really trying to spread out with an open post. That gets Mara away from the basket to keep Gungba out on the perimeter setting screens.
2-man game, Boozer and Gungba. Mara on Boozer with the shot clock running down. Got back his own miss. And a foul is called, but did the shot clock expire first? And they are going to have a look at it.
It was Mara from behind that picked up the foul. But the official's going to take a look at to whether it was a shot clock violation before the contact.
The previous play is under review to determine whether the foul occurred before a potential shot clock violation.
A lot of contact on that initial shot. Yeah, I think the contact occurred before.
Yeah, you can see 1 still on the shot clock there.
Yeah, that's going to be free throws.
Yeah.
And that's it for Mara.
After review, it was determined that the foul occurred before the shot clock violation. 2 shots for Duke.
So 2 shots coming for Cam Boozer as Duke tries to extend the lead with 2.5 minutes to go.
So that was Mara's 4th, right? 4th.
Correct. So Boozer's got 4, Mara's got 4. More college action coming your way on this Saturday night. Kentucky and Auburn are just about ready to get going. They will tip at 8:40 on ESPN News, and then a little later on, Iowa State and BYU, 10:30 Eastern at the Marriott Center in Provo. So, Jay, Michigan had it down to 1. All of a sudden, it's back to 5.
Well, that missed layup by Cadeau was a gut punch. But Michigan has got to find a way to move this defense.
Mara spins and hits.
Well, he turned away, looked like he was going to try to dribble middle, and just spun right off the contact from Gungba. What a beautiful move by Adai Mara.
And he is checking his chiclets. He looks like he might have taken a shot in the mouth and was feeling for a couple of teeth maybe. 3-point game, inside 2 minutes to go.
Good pass.
Boozer for 3. Johnson. Cadeau is open and answers with a 3 of his own.
Boy, how about the guts to take that shot when Cadeau was, what, 0 for 6 or 0 for 7?
0 for 7. Back to a 1-possession game inside a minute and a half to go.
Boy, this is all about getting stops right now, and Duke's been getting some action on back cuts with this spread offense.
Boozer wants it. Look at the defense by Johnson.
Going 1-4 low.
Inside 10 on the shot clock. Boozer driving. Blocked, but it's a goaltending call on Mara, and right away Dusty May says, I'd like you to have a look at that, please.
Morris Johnson Jr. did a great job of staying in front, and Mara from behind.
Goaltending is reviewed
the play
by the
blocked it.
Under 2 minutes.
That looked like it was on the way up to me the whole time, but maybe the angle will change one's mind on this. Up, 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 up. That looked awfully good, but when they call it, at least it can be challenged. If they don't call it, you got no shot to challenge it.
I think I'm inclined to agree with you. I don't think that one was coming down, but I don't know about you. I find these the hardest ones sometimes to evaluate, even with slow motion replay. Well, looks like they have come to a decision already. Paul Sells will give us the info.
They're going to count
After review, the call goaltending is confirmed on the floor. 2 points.
So the call will stand, count the basket, and it's a 5-point lead for Duke with just 61 seconds remaining. Michigan needs a quick score. And a smart play, a good job by Cadeau to draw the foul on Gungba. And again, it's 2 free throws the rest of the way for Michigan.
Yeah, that was smart by Cadeau. He knew that Patrick Gungba did not have legal guarding position, just went into his body to draw that 2-shot foul.
Cadeau 68% on the season.
Now Caleb Foster and Caden Boozer coming into the game to get more ball handling on the floor for Duke, because Michigan is going to come with full court pressure, make or miss on this.
Roddy Gale Jr. has checked in for Michigan. 2 big free throws for Cadeau.
And here comes the full court pressure.
Boozer slings it to his brother. They get it over quickly. Cadeau hounding Caden Boozer, now Cam Boozer. And they can be patient here. Michigan will play the possession out.
Got the switch now. Cadeau on Boozer.
9 to shoot. Over the top, Gungba. No, Gungba got
what a
it
rebound.
back. And now they basically have to foul. The seconds are ticking away, and they'll put Evans on the line. And probably the last guy that Michigan wanted to foul.
Boy, what a great job to slip to the basket by Patrick Gungba. Made a catch and then quicker to the ball on that rebound. That offensive rebound could very well have sealed this or give Duke an opportunity to seal it. Yaxel Lendeborg was there, but Patrick Gungba just quicker to the ball. That was a great slip out of that screening action.
To make sure that the ball did hit the rim correctly, killing the shot clock.
So the issue is whether the initial attempt hit the rim. And it did. Yeah. So that's the quickest review I think we've seen all season.
Well, I didn't even think it was a question the way it came off.
It was determined that the ball did hit the rim. And the shot clock was correctly shut off.
So now Isaiah Evans, who is the best free throw shooter Duke has, second in the ACC at 88% on the season, goes to the line. It is 1-1. Keep that in mind. Aday Mara has gone out for Michigan, and Amari Burnett has checked in. Huge free throw here for Evans. Got it.
Make or miss, Michigan's got to get
4 fouls. They weathered the storm for about 3.5 minutes, and then he came back in and just started putting up numbers. And you look now, 18, 10, and 7 for Boozer.
Well, he scored 7 straight points, and just his presence on the floor opens up so much. But maybe the biggest play of the game for Duke was that offensive rebound by Patrick Gungba after he slipped out of that screening action. To get that offensive board was a huge play.
Michigan needs to score fast. Burnett misses the 3. Tip no. Sarr's got it. Foster's got it. Evans has got it. And Duke will win it. The Duke Blue Devils now 11-22 all time against the number